Specious arguments, come and go, they just take different forms. In our times, there is one specious argument continually being propagated by our government about the Muslim community. Okay? And the argument goes like this: Muslim community has a problem with extremism. Violent extremism, is the precursor to terrorism, and it needs to be clamped down. We need to put in place measures to stop young people become radicalized and turning to extremism, and then going on to commit acts of terrorism. Now, what measures do they bring in force? Measures that relate to not those people who may be extreme in what they say and how they behave and are seen to be actually, doing things which are bordering terrorism or are terrorism. They are focusing on other individuals in the Muslim community who speak against extremism, speak against terrorism, and they are saying to the universities, for example, no platform policy. This sheikh, this Maulana, this person should not be given a platform in your university. Mosques are now being visited by Prevent and being told, why are you giving a platform to this speaker who is known for his so-called radical views? Hang on a minute. These people, what crime have they committed? They haven't committed any crime. So why are you targeting them? Why are you targeting them? Why are you trying to silence them? The specious argument. Non-violent extremism is a conveyor belt to violent extremism. Really? Wow. So you're saying that a law-abiding UK citizen going about his daily life, who believes in the Islam, 1400-year-old religion, somehow will eventually, like a conveyor belt, if not stopped, end up becoming extreme, violent, and preaching radicalism, the type that leads others to commit acts of terrorism. Is that really true? What is your evidence that is a conveyor belt? There is no evidence. In fact, when we ask the experts, for example, the ex-CIA officer, Mark Seligman, ex-CIA, he's in the business of intelligence. He knows a thing or two about, intelligence, evidence-based decision making. He said, Mark Seligman, who also advised the New York Police Department and testified in front of the 9/11 Commission, described the conveyor belt theory as nonsense and says that there is little empirical evidence for such a conveyor belt process. He said, it is the same nonsense that led governments 100 years ago to claim that left-wing political protests led to violent anarchy. The other thing is, the way you are tackling this so-called extremism, focusing only on this one community, Muslims, suggests that the extremism and the terrorism that comes from this community far outweighs and eclipses the acts of terrorism by anyone from any other community. That's what it suggests to us. What do the figures show? Do the figures show that that is true, that these individuals from this community are wreaking havoc and committing acts of terrorism more than anyone else? Because if it does show that, we can see where you're coming from. According to Europol, Europe-wide poll, less than 6% of terrorist acts across the continent, year on year for the last 10 years, have been carried out by Muslims. 6%? 6% is leading you to come up with this task force, which now, after the killing of Lee Rigby, is looking to redefine Islam. Government now is speaking about Muslims, if they read the books of Sayyid Qutb, rahimahullah, that they are on this conveyor belt to becoming extremists. They are saying now that some 25 of our leaders, our teachers, who are law-abiding UK citizens, by the way, should be silenced, given ASBOs. You know what ASBO is? ASBOs are for those, those guys that wear hoodies on the streets, swear a lot, get drunk, make a mess. We want those ASBOs to be given to our leaders. 25 of them have been named. Specious argument. Non-violent extremism is a conveyor belt to extremism or violent extremism. It's a specious argument. It has no evidence whatsoever. And that is why we will continue to challenge it and to expose the government for having no meaning for the word extremism in the first place, and for using this argument to bring about many laws that curb the liberties of law-abiding UK citizens. For example, look what Snowden did. He exposed the Western world for spying not on criminals, not on people bordering criminality, people that are reading their emails sent by their managers. People are writing to their girlfriends and their wives that, how are you doing today? What do you think about dinner tonight? They are spying on those people. And what is the justification? Out there are those terrorists. Don't you see what they're doing? Destroying our society and everything we believe in. Therefore, we need to bring in these legislations. Specious argument.